Hello, I welcome you to this edition of Counselor's Corner. With this edition, we're going to take a closer look at temperament assessment. In the last several broadcasts, what I had done was I had taken each of the 5 temperaments and explained to you a little bit about what each temperament is, some of the strengths and the weaknesses. But we need to take a closer look at what the temperament assessment really is. And it comes under 3 categories. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes explaining to you how the assessment works. I've taken it myself, other people have taken it, and it is a life changer. When we're talking about temperament assessment, there are 3 areas that we assess a person in. The first one is called inclusion. The second one is called control. And the third one is called affection. And so I wanted to just share exactly what each one of those mean to make sure that we're understanding these terms in the correct way when it comes to temperament. When we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about social orientation or intellectual energies. Inclusion is you wanting to be included in a group or included in activities. That's the overall what inclusion means. In control, it has to do with making decisions, being in control of something or a group of people, but also being controlled to a certain degree. Affection, obviously, don't misunderstand. Affection does not mean intimacy exclusively. It means love, it means affection, it means having established relationships, deep personal relationships. It means approval. So there are a lot of different things. Now, I don't want to complicate things here for you. One of the things that we do with the temperament assessment is we assess you in these 3 areas, and I'm going to give you just random examples of each one of these to give you some idea. Please keep in mind, for myself, and I'll be sharing this in further broadcasts, I am a combination of 2 or more of the temperaments. It's very rare that anyone is just a pure temperament all the way through all 3 areas. It is very, very rare. Most of us have a combination of 2, sometimes 3 temperaments. And so when we're looking at this and we're analyzing it and we're assessing what your temperament is, we have to look at these 3 areas. And then we put all of the data together to form whatever temperament that God made you. Now remember, your temperament is not your character. It is not your life experience. It is not your personality. A temperament is something very specific. It's how God created you when you were conceived. And I've used examples like that before where you have 2 children, 2 babies that are born, and one cries a lot, needs to be held a lot, and the other baby is sleeping soundly and doesn't need as much attention. Why is that? It's temperament. It's how God made those children. And as you grow up, your temperament never changes. Your life experiences do, of course. Your character does. Your personality does. It's all shaped by how you live your life and your experiences. But your basic temperament never changes. And so if you want to have a temperament assessment done, you would be looked at, and we would assess that in 3 areas. So let me go over them again with you very quickly. The first one is called inclusion. It's about social orientation. And there's 2 subcategories underneath inclusion. One is called expressed, and the other one is called wanted. And there are 2 very distinct things. I'll give you an example of that. Let's say, in the area of inclusion, let's just say that you receive a phone call from a friend, and that friend says to you, hey, next Friday night, we're having a dinner party. We'd love for you to be there. Would you like to come? And you say, wow, that sounds like a great idea. I'll be there. Put me down. Well, that you're expressing an interest to be involved in that social activity. But as the time gets closer, you see, as the day gets closer, you start maybe getting a little nervous. You start thinking, oh, I've got to shower, I've got to pick out an outfit, I've got to drive to the dinner party, I've got to bring a gift. It's just not worth it. And so you cancel. That's the wanted part, okay? And I'm just using this as a random example. This may not be you at all, but you express it in one way, but what you truly want inside is something else. So in that particular example, you expressed more of a desire to be somewhere than what you actually wanted to do. And because of your temperament, you wind up canceling. That's just one example. Let's look at control, for instance. Okay, let's say you're going for a job and you're a person that likes to be in control. So you don't want to be your goal is not to be just one of the office workers. You want to be the manager or the general manager or even the president of a company. And that's your ambition, because your area of control is strong and you like making decisions and like being the boss and like being in control. That's how you're expressing that. But let's say what you really want is to kind of be not at the top level, not at the president level, but maybe just a supervisor. You're not wanting the amount of control or people controlling you as much as you're giving. That's just a random example in control. The other one in affection is this. Affection is just the need to express and to receive love and affection and approval. It does not always mean intimacy. It does not always involve sex. And so let's say, for instance, you're a person, you love to be touched. You like holding hands. You like cuddling. Your expression in that, in the express category, will be very high. It will be higher on the chart because that is a part of your temperament, something that you have. It's a need. It's a basic need that you have. So you may express high. But then on the wanted thing, you may also need and want that kind of affection. And so that would also rank high. But maybe you're a person that you express it a lot more, but once you become intimate with someone, you kind of hold back or you freeze up, or maybe you're not as open intimate-wise or affection-wise as you expressed. See, there's all kinds of variables. And I realize by you hearing this, you may or may not see yourself in this. There are infinite combinations because we have, for the most part, all of us have at least a minimum of 2 temperaments, minimum. Sometimes we have a pure, but it's very rare. And so I just gave you some basic examples. What I want you to understand is that if you are interested in taking a temperament assessment, you will be assessed in 3 areas: the inclusion, the control, and the affection. And what you will find is that covers almost every aspect of your life, whether it's a social thing, whether it's a romantic thing or an intimate thing, whether it's a job situation, a family situation. It involves everything, every aspect of your life. If you want to find out what your temperament is, you owe it to yourself, because it will change your life. It changed mine. Okay? So I want to just encourage you, if you are curious, to go to our website, livinginharmonyministries.org, livinginharmonyministries.org. And in that website, we have more information on taking a temperament assessment. There's more information about that and the different temperaments. I am a licensed Christian counselor and a certified temperament counselor, and I can help you with these things. If you are interested, I can help you to discover what your temperament is. And may I just say this on a personal note, that I took this assessment probably 2 years ago, and I want to tell you the enlightenment that I received. It suddenly answered many questions that I had as to why I was behaving the way I was. Why did I react the way I did? Why would I say one thing and do something else? It wasn't necessarily all because of my personality or my character. It had to do with my temperament. And once I found out how God created me, my whole world changed. And we have other people that have taken that temperament and the same thing has happened to them. So what I just invite you to do is stop by our website, livinginharmonyministries.org. Take a look at what we're doing for individuals and for church bodies, because this is available not just for people, individual people, but for church bodies, for pastoral staffs, for anyone who wants to know exactly what they're dealing with. It's ideal for, let's say, a pastor who has a staff of people and needs to know what each temperament is so he can assign out various jobs and various things. You wouldn't take someone who's basically shy and put them in a social situation. It wouldn't work. So this is invaluable information. livinginharmonyministries.org. I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with me tonight. In the next Counselor's Corner, we're going to start exploring some other questions. What's the difference between temperament and personality? What's the difference between temperament and character? What does it mean to have a blended temperament, and how does all that work? There's many, many more things that we can look at together, and I will be back in future editions. And in the meantime, stop by and see us, livinginharmonyministries.org. Thanks for being with me. God bless you.